Hey, family. Welcome to the Lance Jones Show. I wanted to jump on just a minute. Had some things on my mind I thought I'd share with you guys as we review what's going on in the country today. Everybody's laying off, people are unemployed. There's new Fed coin or Fed now, digital currency coming out, the BRICS. So I'll tell you what, let's talk about all this and unpack it and see what your thoughts are. And please subscribe, share right now, and stay tuned and we'll get started right now.
Success is knocking. No more excuses. It's time to get out of your own way. Share now. We're going live. Amazing people, heroes saving the day, neighbors lending a helping hand, innovators changing the world, business leaders promoting and encouraging business ownership and entrepreneurship. The stories that celebrate our humanity. Welcome to the Lance Jones Show. Now, here is your host, Lance Jones.
Thank you. I appreciate that intro, man. I love that music, that new intro. You guys, I appreciate that. I welcome everyone. This thing was on my mind for the last few days, and I just had to get it off my mind into your ears. Welcome to the Lance Jones Show. Please subscribe, share, and like at this moment. See us on all media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're there. Feel free to chime in the chat area, the Lance Jones Show. It's wide open. We need to hear from you. Get your thoughts about what I'm saying and what's going on today in this world. More particularly, the world is changing. I think the U.S., this country's hegemony, the dollar as we once knew it, I think is changing drastically. And the question ultimately I have is, what should we be doing? Particularly African Americans. Well, everyone is welcome to be on the show, and we want you to enjoy and like and share. But I really want to talk to you, African Americans. We have spent the better part of 400 to 600 years in this country. I'll tell you, it is something to see the world change today. The world is changing. We can't deny that, right? With the advent of the BRICS, the fall of the U.S. dollar in response to the BRICS. I know some of you are saying, what's the BRICS? Well, the BRICS is the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, sorry. So those of you who are in the know what I'm talking about. And now the other nations that have joined the BRICS, BRIC nations, forming an alliance among themselves under the Chinese yuan digital currency. And I'm sure there'll be offsprings in other countries. But, and now I understand that Saudi Arabia, the oil producing countries, have now also joined the BRICS. So what does that mean for the U.S.? At one time, heretofore, the U.S. dollar was the medium of exchange for oil. If your country wanted to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, you had to get the U.S. dollar through your world banks or whatever the format is, and they would buy the oil from Saudi Arabia in U.S. dollars. That's no longer the case. Saudi Arabia has now also joined the BRICS, along with several other nations around the world. And one of the things I learned is that they're embarking upon the most dynamic and never seen before infrastructure, connectivity among the nations, via maritime, air, rail, and so on and so forth. And all of this new development is void of the need or involvement of the United States. So what does that say? You know, we're like an island unto ourselves. I guess the other nations have decided that they too could become a superpower and share the power among themselves. And that's just my analogy. And I invite all who have knowledge in this area, in this space, please to join, chime in the chat. We'd love to have you. And so we're watching a change that our parents and foreparents never even could have thought of. And that's something that the U.S. dollar would be a thing of the past as we once knew it. So how many of you have dollars now? You know, you guys have dollars that you're saving up, and but you're noticing that the dollar is losing its value. How about that? Losing its value. Have you been to the dollar store lately? Can you buy anything at the dollar store today, guys? No, which means that the value of the dollar has been diminished. I think things now in the dollar store, and this is a very small analogy, but it's true that the dollar is losing its value, not just here in the country, but around the world. We saw recently where gold and silver was being consumed by regional and world banks from around the world. They were swapping out their currencies for gold, because gold is what's called God's money, gold and silver, right? The only hedge you really have against the changing times and the US dollar is gold and silver, for it's going up in value. So how many of you have gold and silver at home, or stored at your vaults in your safe deposit boxes or wherever? And if you don't, why not? If not, why not? So we're going to need something. I wanted to unpack some of these things, just kind of throw them out there and have some discussions with you guys, because I am thinking about where we are today versus where we're going. And what is it that we're handing to our children and children's children? When we see nations uniting and excluding America, when we hear wars and rumors of wars, right? What should we be doing as African Americans in this country? So I'd love to call upon the critical thinkers, folks in politics, our historians, our all of the various disciplines that it's going to take to really navigate this thing for people who've been here, never got their 40 acres of mules, never got equal treatment, equal rights under the law. Where do we go from where we are as a people? And so I thought it worth talking about. You know, we have to set an agenda now, African Americans, and those of us in Africa, both African and African Americans. There has to be an agenda. We have to chart a course for the future. We can't just keep going to where we're going, folks. It's a critical hour. I don't want to sound like gloom and doom, but rather I want to implore upon all of us that we have to navigate a course for the future of our people, of our children, so on and so forth. In 2019, I think over 2 million of us went into Ghana, and they were issued dual citizenship. Very important. That's great. Now the masses are still here. You know, I hear some saying, well, we need to leave, and we need to leave this country, we need to go to other countries, so on and so forth. Well, I think we have a value. Our sojourn in this country has really taught us valuable lessons about governments, about how they run, how to run them, how to improve upon them, how to, manage the simple things as water filtration systems, and just all of the things we learn by matriculating in institutions of higher learning in this country. We have a value that can be offered around the world. And I think that should be negotiated. No longer should we just go somewhere and just, haphazardly, we watch persons of different denominations, different religions move around the world. Governments have moved them. There were mass exoduses. Is that something we should not consider? I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. I heard someone say to me, well, I don't want to sit here if there's rumors of war. I don't want to just sit here and, be a victim. All the other nations are coming together. I get that. I hear you. However, I don't think we should also go to another country, whether it's Africa or anywhere else, and just be minorities there. I think we have a true value that we have to recognize among ourselves. And once we do that, I think we can, begin to gel, and it requires a renewing of the mind as well. Because some of us, the current state of our minds is not developmental nor positive for us as a people. And so we have a lot of work to do, but a lot of work that must be done if our children and next generation, the children's children, are to survive and inherit a new mindset, a new paradigm shift in their thinking and in the way that business is handled among us, the way that we demand it. We're not asking. I think that Dave asked, power only concedes to a greater or equal power. So what part do we begin to exercise the power that we know we have? I mean, think about this, guys. And so I just wanted to lift a few things up to us before we get too far down the road. I know there's a meeting of several groups in Baltimore, and there's just so many groups doing great things. But we have to really begin to talk about where do we go from where we are at this point, in this juncture of history, as a people. Because we cannot continue down this road the way we're going. We are a nation of people. We spend $1.8 trillion a year, roughly $1.8 trillion, $2 trillion roughly, close to, right? That is African Americans alone in this country. $2 trillion in spending, whether it's $2 trillion spending power, makes us somewhere in the ranks of 13 to 15 if we were a nation of people. Think about that. But because we're divided, the real strength of us cannot be felt, nor can we garner from our strength that which would make us stronger economically, make us together more, create a more cohesive community, which is what's needed. And so I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. I really would love to hear from you. You can go to our website, thelastjonesshow.com, put in your comments. I would love it. We're live right now. You guys can go right on the website, make some comments there, and I'll answer them. And those of you are critical thinkers, we need to have you on the show. Be glad to have you on the show to talk about where we are and where we need to go, and the challenges that we're going to face as we decide to do that. One only needs to look at history. History is best to reward the researcher. What did a Marcus Garvey go through? What did a Martin Luther King go through? So on and so forth. So as we begin to think out of the box about our own unity and survival, there's going to be some challenges. I want to thank all of the groups that we've talked to recently that are coming into the U.S. from the continent. I want to thank all of our staff and different folks at the various nonprofits that are part of the organization, the WOW, a fantastic God-sent idea to unify folks. And so we want all of you to keep your ears out and listen for that. I mentioned gold and silver for a moment, simply because gold and silver is a hedge against the coming change economically. There are some who participate in the World Health Organization and talked about really gloom and doom. And things are just getting terrible and will get worse. We need to prepare. So who are those champions out there that are championing the cause of the resurrection and rise economically, spiritually, mentally of our people? Who are they? We'd like to hear from you. I thank Dr. Ron Daniels for his event next week in Baltimore. And it's that type of thing that we need to do around the country and indeed around the world. I would hope that a meaningful dialogue is held and actionable steps taken as a result of this meeting of great minds. You know, we thank God for Dr. John Henrik Clark. We thank God for many of you who, the unsung heroes. We have a great deal of work to do, and it's a joyous occasion. So let us not get weary in the 11th hour, nor allow anyone or anything to divide us during this time. It's a very critical time in the history of this nation, very critical time for us as a people. I am want to talk for a moment about, as the change happens with the currency, as the dollar dies out, what do you have as a hedge against going broke? Check the news. There are people out here now who are going to the bank and can't get their money out of the bank. How about that? They're going to the bank, can't get their money out of the bank, and they're crying, holy foul, right? Will that be you? What are you going to do as a hedge against that? We suggest gold and silver. Gold and silver, while you can. I know many of the world banks have scooped up a lot of the gold. And what we saw in the last year or two is the banks really repatriating their gold back to their countries, and you know, which is causing now this mad rush for everyone to acquire gold, just to stay solvent. What are you doing as individuals? What are we doing as African Americans? Do you have any gold or silver? We're talking about anyone can own a piece of silver bullion. What is it, about $20, guys? Maybe $30 now, something like that. Spot plus cost. You know, so if you spend $30, $27 plus another $3 for fees, that kind of thing, $5 fees. So what? Anyone can afford a piece of silver, and you guys should begin to purchase silver and gold and store it. For each one of those precious metals are going through the roof right now. And it's anticipated within the next year to 2 to 3 years to be much, 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 much higher. So if you spend $30 today, that same piece could be $100, $150, $200 within several months. Good investment? Absolutely. So if you can get 50 pieces or 100 pieces or 500 pieces, think about what type of come up that would be for you guys. All right. So I really want you guys to think about what we're talking about here today. It's critical. It's a critical hour. Not to panic over, but it is something that we must move on quickly. I want to thank Dr. Boyce Watkins for all of his work and many, many others. But I really love his work and what he's doing to educate the masses of our people. So I support him. I suggest you do the same as well. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Our dear brother who talks about the insurance and life insurance and all these type of things, Douglas Easy, look him up, give him a call, tell him we told you from the Lance Jones Show to give him a call and to inquire about those services. What are you doing for your retirement? Where you guys invested at? Are you invested? Life insurance. There's a way to get life insurance and have it as like a form of a bank for you. You know? So there's many things that we could do, but we have to begin to do it now. There's not a whole lot of time, guys. The business startups. If you're not employed or you're unemployable, why not start your business? I think this is the greatest opportunity in the world this time this time that we're in, because you guys can start a home-based business right on the computer and make untold thousands of dollars by just marketing your services or your products. Take a look at what we're offering at the Lance Jones Show. We want to help everyone begin to spark that idea about entrepreneurship. It's crucial. The job market is falling. People are losing jobs to robotics and AI. You see the kiosk at McDonald's? You go there, put your order in the kiosk, and there's a machine in the back that lifts the fries up and turns it, so on and so forth. So, how about self-driving cars? Bicycles today, you don't have to pedal them now. So the world is changing, and so must we. So I'm encouraging you guys to get your businesses started. Go to our website. See the link right here on our YouTube channel. Start your business. We'll help you. Go to the website, click on the link, get started, start advertising your business online. And watch. And there's plenty of content creators out there that'll help you. We have Brickway Global is one that we use, Brickway Global. And there's several others. But you guys, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that we take seriously what's going on. Again, that $1.8 trillion that you spend every year in America alone, and very little of it comes back to us. A continent, 12 million square miles, 5 regions, with everything in it that everybody wants and don't want to pay for, and some of our people are giving it away. I think it's time that we sit down and have a great endowment, a great sit down, a family discussion about where we are and where we need to go. The minerals that are in the earth in Africa shouldn't be given away the way that it is. Making deals with folks who don't have our best interests at heart. I think we need to change that narrative. I get it. You can't get something for nothing. But my point is, they all want, everyone in the world wants what's in the ground in Africa. Can we be smarter about how we divvy that up, how we provide those services, how we sell those products? Can we make it more beneficial to our people, to Africans and African Americans? African Americans, I think, are very unique in their experience in America. For that experience has prepared many African Americans in government, in all the sciences, in STEM, STEAM, you name it, mathematics. They're mayors. Just think about where we've come from over the last couple of 100 years. Come here in chattel slavery and chains, hung on trees. I'm not talking about 1,000 years ago. I know they want to get this critical race theory. They want us to stop talking about it, but we cannot stop talking about it here. No one else has stopped talking about history. And again, I say history is best to reward the researcher. The children must know what was so they can plan for what will be. And we have to tell them what has happened so that it never happens again. And we're still coming through this thing. So I'm sending a shout out to all of you just to say, look, let's be careful. Let's keep our eyes wide open and our spirits and our minds open even wider. Get your business started quickly. Start buying the gold and silver. Those of you on the continent, the heads of state and leaders who are joining the BRICS, let's unite and get something out of that for the masses. You know, certain countries, you go to Israel, they're all their people, all their religious kin. You go to Italy, you go to different places. What is it that we don't understand about our unity? And what is it that divides us so, that we're so against the unity of each other? When in truth, that unity is our strength. And so toward that end, I want to invite everyone to join us in what's called the WOW. We're one worldwide. We want you guys to come out, and it's an effort to unify the masses throughout the world, African Americans and Africans. We want to have this discussion about who we are, where we are, so that we can begin to employ our own, start our businesses, support each other, educate our children, and everything else that every civilized society does. We can no longer continue to run as businesses as usual. If you love both your children, your children's children, and your people, we must make a mental change. Doesn't mean that we pick up guns and that. We don't need that foolishness. We fire the shot of unity. The shot of unity will be sufficient for all of our needs, for what we have in Africa, what we have in Haiti. Haiti has one of the biggest mountains out there. A meteorite fell from the heavens, right? It's called Ibranium, uranium, or something like that. You guys know what it is. Put it in the chat there. But it is what the government uses, America goes to get to make their rockets and that kind of thing. And so we're such a blessed people. We don't understand it. We don't realize it. We really need to look at that and all of these different aspects. So we want to form these committees and subcommittees, these think tanks to review these things and come back and give us the best recommendations of which way to move and how to handle these various things. It's a very critical hour. And I don't think we as the adults now should play with this and just assume that it's going to go away, because it's not. Ultimately, our inaction will pass the same problem on to our children's children's children if we don't put in place a hedge, a system, values, thought processes that causes us to think differently. And we pass it through the education, religion, so all these different methodologies and programs to help change where we are and the thinking that we have in our mentality, our minds. So this is like a cry. This is like I'm yelling, saying, look, guys, we really need to form a think tank. We really need to navigate where we are, from where we are to where we need to go. We need to think about that today. What's the alternative? Not to do that and keep getting the same thing that we have now, and worse. There's more of us out of work now than ever before. As a matter of fact, I just read a study that said, you know, where we were once second to the dominant culture, now we've fallen in fourth place. So you have Caucasians, Latin Americans, Asians, then African Americans. How can we let that happen? Because we're distracted by outside forces and different things that divide us. And for you who are able to forecast down the wheel of time, what does that look like? What does that look like in 50 years, 25 years, 10 years? What does our communities look like in 10 years? what our people look like in 10 years? Hmm? And so I'm asking us to really look at where we are today, so that we could allow our children to have a better opportunity in the near future. Does that sound reasonable? I would hope that it does. Because if we continue down this road, our children will be able to say to us, why did you leave us in this condition? Didn't you see this coming? Didn't you see the currency change from the US dollar, paper dollar, to a Fed now coin, digital currency? Did you not see that? Did you see the BRICS forming an alliance among nations? Hmm? Africa, did you not see that? Did you just join it? Was there some negotiation? Are you just the African on the block like the African American is in America? Huh? You're not the minority, you are the majority. You are the one that God has given you all the tools in Africa and the earth that everyone wants. You are the leader. Do you know that? In fact, we are the leaders in America. Do we know that? Or do you think it's just some black folks, some Negroes? No, you are a government inside a government, and you don't know it. You have a $2 trillion budget that you spend every year and give it to other folks. It is said that if African Americans began to spend their money among each other in 1 year, you'll make over 100,000 millionaires. Do you hear me? I said if African Americans began to spend their money among each other, in 1 year, we'll create over 100,000 millionaires. So who's willing to change their minds now? And I really want to hear from you guys, please. I'm not throwing off on you. I love you. That's why I'm taking the chance and saying what I'm saying. I know there's forces out there that won't like this. But the reality is, this is for survival. What we're talking about now is not some lightweight thing. We have to survive this thing. Our children's children have to survive this thing. If you're wise, you begin to form with us, unite with us, and have think tanks and meetings among nations with our leadership in Africa in all 5 regions. We're in a critical hour, family. A critical hour. And I would hate to see us lose. This is an easy thing to fight. This is not difficult. Doesn't take rocket science, any of that. But our unity. So again, we have 3 or 4 business opportunities for you guys. If you want to get into the gold and silver space, we invite you to do that by going right to our website and signing up. It doesn't matter what you'd like to do. We have a number of opportunities available. Just see it right there in our dashboard online. If you want to get into gold and silver space, if you want to just purchase your gold and silver and store it, right, and take a look at it. I mean, you're going to need some medium of exchange when you go to. There are countries right now not even accepting U.S. dollars. Think about that. Huh? Yeah, they won't even take the dollar. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, really? So you should be saying the same thing. So we talked a little bit today about the BRICS, talked about gold and silver, we talked about business opportunities. Those of you interested in the CBD business for medicinal purposes, that's out there. We can get you started in that. You want to get started in the gold and silver space? Visit our website. Yeah. Go right now to www.7kmetals.com/LA Jones. Take a look at it, guys. So I really want to see us be better. And all of us should be striving to be better human beings, better brothers and sisters to each other. And the result of our unity will be a brighter day financially, in terms of inclusion, the building of business, the education of our children, and a greater cohesiveness among us as a people. The old mindset is dead. I remember Dr. John Henry Clark saying something one day. He went to a meeting and they said, well, we want you to debate this young man and so on and so forth. The Honorable John Henry Clark said, I spent most of my life teaching our people history. And I'm paraphrasing. And the history of our people from Ante Diop to many, many others. That's why I thank Claude Anderson for sounding the alarm as he has done with all his books. Look up Dr. Claude Anderson, his books. Read those books. Get the audio book if you don't like to read. I get it. Right? But he said these words. He said, I have not come here to debate anyone. Again, I spent over 40 years of my life teaching African history. He said, I came today to teach, not to debate anyone, because I have no equal in this space. And in truth, we can say that, African Americans and Africans. We have no equal in the space that God has given us relative to what we have in the ground and the continent. We have no equal relative to our ability to bounce back from slavery. In a nation where we were once held as slaves, here we are today, the chiefs, the assistant vice president of a nation that once held us in chains. So don't tell me there's not a God. The question is, do you understand your relationship between what God wants and what he has for us to do? So gangbangers, clean it up. You are not the enemy of your brother. I talked to a lot of you, brother. I love you. I just want to see you change your habits, brothers and sisters, from killing each other. I know I'm bouncing around, but there's so much to talk about. At the end of the day, my prayer is that you see each other as brothers and sisters, that you begin to share and like each other and share like we share on the internet, share like. Well, this has to be made real in our lives and in our minds. The ability to share and like and love. And I'm the blood of your blood, you're the blood of my blood. It can't be about the dollar anymore, because the dollar's not here. How many of you know anything about cryptocurrency? Huh? African Americans? So when the switch comes, you guys will be lost. Who's teaching those classes in our community? So we have some challenges, and to our profession, we have some challenges, and we're going to lead on you to help guide the masses. You'll hear about the while we are one worldwide. You'll hear about, and invite you to Africa's Brain Bank. All right, look it up, get involved. There are a number of organizations around the country, indeed around the world, those picking up steam today. We are one worldwide, to include Motown's greatest artist, to include businessmen and women who've reached the heights in business in their career that are part of the WOW. We are one worldwide. That have served and spoken at African Brain Bank events. So, family, look us up, visit the website, get your businesses started, and let's move forward as one. For we are one, whether on this continent or any other. See your brother and sister as your brother and sister, and we'll go much further that way. So for those of you who get your businesses started, I'll be looking forward to speaking with you. I'll give you a call personally. Whichever business you want to do, go to the website, get signed up, shoot us an email, we'll respond, and we'll look forward to assisting you and getting you on the come up. Those of you who want to store your gold and silver, call right away and we'll deliver it directly. It's not an EFT where we're going to hold it for you and all that kind of crap. We're going to send it directly to you. All right? And so at this time, I thank you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share the show. And look forward to talking to you guys again real soon. Until then, be blessed.